All right. Yes, I see people starting to pop in here. I am going to go dark. And can you see the attendees?
The participant list?
Yeah. So it's counting up right now.
Perfect. Yeah. There we
So yeah,
go.
just maybe give it a minute until everybody sort of pops in before you get going.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Oh yeah, we're still a minute ahead of schedule. Look at that. Look at that. It's
Great.
almost like we know what we're doing, Seth.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Almost. Yeah, I am actually really looking forward to hearing about Buddy Up.
Okay. Very good.
All right, man, I'm going to go dark and I'm going to leave it to you.
Perfect. All right, we'll get started here then. All right, well, thank you everybody for coming today. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Buddy Up, which is our men's suicide prevention campaign. So real quick, just introduction. My name is Seth McVety. So I'm the client relations coordinator at Center for Suicide Prevention. I'll talk a bit more about who we are, but first off, I just want to show a few things that we'll talk about. One, I want to talk about Buddy Up. Why is it a men's campaign? Why are men at risk? I want to do a bit of an overview of the campaign and what it looks like year round, and then show some of the photos that we have of Buddy Up being in action. So due to the subject matter, we always put this slide here, just so that it's available for everyone, recognizing that suicide is a heavy topic. Anytime you are in distress or need to talk to somebody, this number 988 is available all across Canada. So it's the Suicide Crisis Helpline, available 24 hours a day. It's a number that you can call or text, and it's on the bottom of all the slides, so you can check those out as we go forward. So I want to talk about who we are first. So Center for Suicide Prevention, we are an education center, and our goal is to equip Canadians to respond to people at risk of suicide. And we've been doing that since 1981. So we've been around for a decent amount of time. What we do is we actually work in a few different areas. So these three buckets. One is information services. So we actually have the largest English library on suicide literature in the world. And it's located, we're based out of Calgary, and that has 50,000 items. And we take all of that information. We have multiple librarians and all the staff, and we take that information, we distill it down into information toolkits, fact sheets, guides, and webinars, and into our campaigns, such as Buddy Up. We also offer workshops, so knowledge-based or skills-based workshops, focusing on different various populations, and they're available virtually or in person. These workshops are anything from recognizing signs of suicide, how to begin a conversation with somebody, or even how to do a full intervention with somebody. So some great workshops and trainings there to learn how to talk to individuals about suicide. And then last there is community engagement. So we have communication campaigns, Buddy Up being one, and we attend a lot of events, sit on advisory committees, and provide subject matter expertise. And then we help a lot of organizations implement suicide prevention within their workplace. So Buddy Up, why did we create Buddy Up, and why is it a men's suicide prevention campaign? So first off, I just want to mention that in Canada, 3 out of 4 suicides are men. And so that for us was just a staggering number, and really hard to hear. And so we wanted to create something that would resonate with men and that men could apply in their lives. And so I want to talk about a couple other reasons why men are at risk. So a few here. So men age 45 to 64 die by suicide more than anyone else. So that population, that age group has the highest number of suicides. Men are often expected to be kind of that strong, that unfailing. They're the one that people look to or depend on, and so it's harder for men to often open up about how they're actually doing or share their emotions or talk to others about what they're going through. And then men also typically isolate themselves when things aren't going well. So each of these play a factor or factors that play into that. And so Buddy Up really looks to start conversations and reduce the stigma of talking about suicide, showing that it is okay to talk about, and that we need to reach out and check in on each other. Often people who are considering suicide don't want to reach out for help or feel unable to reach out for help. And so Buddy Up really focuses on help offering behavior. I attend a lot of events, and I'm often talking to men, and they're not always willing to reach out for help or seek out resources, but they always say they'll do anything for a friend. And so that's what we seek to utilize in Buddy Up, is that check in on your buddies, see how they're doing. And as we do that, we'll all be checking in with each other. So I want to provide a brief overview of what the campaign is and some of the components that it has. So first, Buddy Up was created for men by men. And what I mean by that is that we have we have an advisory committee that sits together and it seeks to make sure that everything that we create or put into the campaign really resonates with men. We hold focus groups. We also have a research committee that reviews a lot of the information as well, to make sure that we're up to date on all of our information. The main goal of the campaign is to promote authentic conversations among men and their buddies. As I mentioned, often there's a hesitation to reach out for help. And so as we check in with our buddies, we're more likely or able to help out those around us. So there's kind of two components to the campaign. One is a visual message, and the second is a guide. And so I'll walk you through a bit of those. And you can also check us out on our website, buddyyup.ca. All the resources are on there and lots of great information. So first is a visual message. So we have a bunch of characters. Suicide is a heavy topic, and so we try to make it a little bit more approachable, partially why we have the characters, but also to show who's impacted. So for example, here's one of our characters. This is Amir. So Amir is our workplace professional. So Amir has his story here. It says, Amir seems like he has his life together. He's a confident guy. He always looks sharp, but Amir makes a lot of jokes about depression and suicide. If you have a friend like Amir, step up and offer your support. Each character has a bit of a story, just showing different elements of things to watch out for. And if you look into our other trainings, you can learn a lot more about those, but Buddy Up really provides that introduction into suicide prevention. I want to introduce you to some of our other characters. So I put them on a line here, and I'll just introduce them one by one. So Liam, he's kind of our casual dude. Chris, he's our healthcare professional. Jim, he's our senior citizen. Aiden, he's a new student. Amir, you met. And then Steve, he's our construction worker. Marcos, he's a new dad. Clay, he works in agriculture. Luis is an athlete. And then Jamal is our first responder. I always like looking at this slide and showing this slide, because what I hope really resonates with everybody that sees it is that anyone can have thoughts and feelings of suicide. It's not limited to a demographic or age, a profession. Really, it can impact anyone. And so I like to have this visual message showing that really anyone can be having those thoughts. And that's why it's important to check in on your buddies. Another part of the campaign is the guide. I won't go too in depth into this. If you are interested in further information, you can contact me. But it's a 4-step guide of how to have that conversation. So the steps are: 1, pay attention. So what kind of things should you be looking out for? to recognize that maybe something's wrong with one of your buddies, or that he might be considering suicide. 2 is starting that conversation. How do you have that conversation? How do you start that out? Where do you have those conversations? 3rd there is keeping it going, recognizing that sometimes these conversations can be uncomfortable if it's not something that you're used to having. So checking in with your buddies, keeping it going by asking questions, listening, and then also acting directly about suicide if they're having those thoughts. And then sticking to your role. I think this is an important one, recognizing that sometimes we hesitate to get into these conversations because we feel like all of a sudden we'll be in charge of handling the situation, or that we have to come up with the solution. What I always say here is that you don't have to be, you're not a counselor, just be a friend. You are a friend, so stay in that role of being a friend, but connect them with appropriate resources. Connect them with 988 or a local distress center or other resources that are local to your area. So those 4 steps, we go into a lot more in depth online and in our various presentations. But for this presentation, I just want to give an overview of the campaign. So another part of the campaign is champions. We have over 1,200 champions across Canada. So these champions are individuals or groups that sign up, and basically what being a champion is, there's no minimum requirements. You do as much or little as you're able to or want to or feel comfortable with. But the main goal is really to promote those authentic conversations and check in with your buddies. We have over 400 groups that are involved. So these are organizations all across Canada. And so this number of champions actually represents thousands and thousands more that are learning about suicide prevention and checking in with their buddies and having these conversations. There's kind of 2 areas that the campaign can help out. One is communication. So really getting the message out there, talking about suicide, getting people to check in with their friends. You can do that through posting on social media. We have a lot of great social media on our website. Another is engaging group messaging. Do you have a group chat in your workplace, or maybe it's your friend group? Check in with each other there. You can also order swag. So there on the right side of the slide is a bunch of our swag. So we have posters of our various characters and their stories. A lot of people like to hang those up in their workplace. The second there is the conversation guide in an infographic style, showing the 4 different steps that I talked about of how to have a conversation with somebody that you're worried about. Men and Suicide Toolkit. This is also available on the website. All of this is. But it's a toolkit that talks about different facts and reasons why men are risk of suicide, some of the warning signs, how to have those conversations. And that's also in the wallet card there on the right, is kind of a short form of the conversation guide, just to keep with you. Because when you're in that situation, it's a great resource to, one, show you again how to have that conversation, but also has some resources on it that you can connect with. And then a few other things there. We have air fresheners, stickers. A lot of people like to put those up in their cars, the air fresheners. It's a great conversation starter. You know, people may say, what's that? Oh, it's Buddy Up. It's a men's suicide prevention campaign. Just kind of gets the conversation going. And also, maybe if you have a friend that is having thoughts of suicide and doesn't necessarily know where to turn, they're like, oh, well, my buddy does have, we did talk about it that one time. Maybe he's somebody I can open up to or connect with. It's all about just reducing the stigma that it is okay to talk about. And then the second part there is the Buddy Up year round. So Buddy Up runs all year from July 1st to June 30th. And the way that we break it up is we have quarterly mini campaigns, and then there's just other activities that can be done anytime throughout the year. So I do want to show a couple of these. So these are the mini campaigns. For now, I just put the months. The first 3 there are actually week-long campaigns that we run, and then the 4th there in June is a month-long. And so the goal is really to provide opportunities to connect with buddies, to get together, develop relationships. I always say that relationships are key in suicide prevention, because the more that you know somebody, the more you're able to recognize when something's off or when you should have a conversation with them. But also there's built trust there. And so these all focus on ways to get together, but also build those relationships and provide opportunities to talk. So the first there is Power Up, which happens in September. It's all about strengthening your body and mind. Is that something that you want to do through journaling? Is that you want to go for a run with a buddy, or you go to the gym, or you are on a sports team, whatever it may be? What kind of physical activity or mental activity can you do with a buddy? The second there is in December, it's Build Up, working on a project. One thing that we've found in our research is that men, if they're going to be talking about how they're actually doing or their feelings, they're more likely to open up. One, if they don't have to look at each other, and two, if their hands are busy. And so working on a project is often a great time. Guys will get talking because, you know, there's not that awkward, we're staring at each other, you're working on something, your hands are busy. So working on a project's a great time to connect and work together and have conversations. Lift Up is in February, so another week-long campaign. Acts of kindness. What random acts can you do for your buddy? How can you show that you're there for him, that you appreciate him? Great opportunity just to let them know that they mean a lot to you, being their buddy. And then the last there is Buddy Up Month. So this was the original Buddy Up campaign until we expanded it to year round because of all the champions that are getting involved. The June challenge is kind of like it's almost like a bingo card of different activities and things that you can do throughout the month with your buddy. Check them off. Organizations will sometimes hold contests for groups to accomplish those for various in-house prizes or things like that. But just different ways, again, to get together, have conversations, and build relationships. The next there is just other things that you can do throughout the year. If you want to order swag, swag is free after you sign up as a champion. You can order it for free. Maybe you want to exercise, volunteer with a friend, get other people involved by recruiting people. If you want it as part of an event, Buddy Up, we'll do presentations. Sometimes we'll do booths or things like that. Learn more about suicide prevention. That's a big component. Host a games night, learn a new skill. Lots of great opportunities to get together and promote suicide prevention. As Buddy Up is year round, if you're on the website, you'll see it in this format. There is a map with various activities that can be done throughout the year that show the quarterly. You can share the map, you can share the various activities, whether it's on social or email, but that can be found on buddyup.ca. I want to show just a couple pictures here in the last few minutes. So here we have a few that were submitted by people who are champions. So these ones are kind of construction focused, but I really like these ones. On the left there, you'll see one company, they put Buddy Up air fresheners in all their heavy machinery. Some will do in their fleet vehicles or personal vehicles. Great way to promote that suicide prevention is something that can be talked about in the workplace. Stickers, a lot of construction people like to put them on their hard hats, but you can also put it on your laptop, put it on your cell phone. It sparks conversation and also shows people that it's something that you're willing to talk about. And then on the right there, I liked this one because there was a group of men in one company, and what they would do is they'd read from our toolkit in their safety meetings. They'd read a paragraph or so, and then they'd discuss it and talk and check in with each other. And I thought that was a great way to reduce the stigma of talking about suicide and how you're doing, and also making it comfortable in the workplace that it's okay to talk about. Sometimes we'll have booths. This is one that Champion put up in their workplace. They had a mental health fair, and so they put out a bunch of Buddy Up resources. Another company put on their job board or their staff board all the different activities that can be done, and they had individual challenges that could be done as well. Last couple here. Buddy Up, each year we like to recognize a group or a company or organization that we feel has gone above and beyond in implementing Buddy Up and promoting the conversation about suicide prevention. And so these are a few that we've had over the past few years. One new element that we brought into the campaign this past year is Buddy Up skills training. We bring it into the workplace. So why should workplaces get involved? We actually spend 60% of our waking hours at work. So it's really a prime venue to talk to and support people around us. Sometimes we see our coworkers more than our family, and so we really can see when things aren't right or have opportunities to have conversations. And so this is a three-tiered model of different levels of training that workplaces can bring in so that everyone has some sort of training. But if they are worried about somebody around them, they're able to connect with somebody that has deeper training as well. So the last two things I want to say here is one, sign up and become a champion. Go to buddyup.ca, sign up and join. It puts you on our mailing list so you can know everything that's going on, but also gives you access to the free swag and all the different campaigns that we're getting involved with. I threw up a couple of the organizations that are involved, but this is just a small amount of them. There's a lot of great champions and industries that are involved. And then I just want to end with my contact. So you can email me any questions that you have with seth@suicideinfo.ca. And then also you follow us on social media. As I mentioned in the beginning about our library, we take a lot of that information and we put it into our social posts. So if you want to learn more about suicide prevention in general, follow us. And it's a great place to have kind of that bite-sized content that you're able to learn more about suicide prevention. So sign up, become a champion. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to answer any questions I might have. And I hope that we all have the opportunity to check in with our buddies and see how they're actually doing. So thank you for listening.
So Seth.
Yeah.
How are you? Really?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's great to be here and I'm grateful for all the contact that you had in leading up to this presentation. It really made it for a smooth process.
So Normal is asking, you may have answered this. How can we order the Buddy Up resources? What's the process?
Yeah, so just go on buddyup.ca. You can, on the top there, it says how to be a champion, or on that main page, you can sign up to become a champion. And then you'll get an email with where you can order the resources. It's also on that how to be a champion page. So it is free and you can order it for your workplace, or if you just want it for yourself, throw up an air freshener in your car, you're welcome to do that.
I love the sticker idea because you're right. It's just such a great way to, oh, well, what's that sticker on your phone? Oh, well, let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're taking a picture. It's right there. Everyone's looking at it. So
yeah,
great place.
Fabulous. Once again, your contact info, Seth@suicideinfo.ca.
Correct. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Seth, thank you very much. You know, it's funny. I have definitely dove into the website bits and pieces, but it's so good to hear you talk about this. Someone's asking, will there be sessions on how women can support men? To some extent, you know what? I'll address that in an email where we can cover that, because that's a very important topic. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, friends, we've got about 7 minutes until our next session, Brian St. Louis. So if you hop on back to the lobby, then you can jump into Brian's session and I will see you over there. And Seth, thank you again so much. Seth had to jump in last minute because his colleague got ill and it was not able to present. So super grateful for you supporting our conference, and thanks again.
Yeah,
all right, team, we will see you over in the next session.